What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some advice that all quarterbacks need to hear. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope we could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a QB and you would like to get some work in with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 15 different states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. We are in San Francisco right now for our first camp. Then we'll be coming out to Orlando, Florida. That camp is completely sold out. But then we'll be coming out to Phoenix, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on that, how you can sign up, how you could work with us, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. So first things first, there's a lot of talk in the quarterback world right now, especially about this arm slot. So your arm slot being here, being at this 3/4, being at a sidearm, being directly over the top. What is the correct arm slot? And this is something that I feel all quarterbacks need to know. Everybody has a different arm slot and everybody has a different throwing motion. The quarterback position is played from many different arm slots. You look at Joe Burrow make this throw here. He throws from a more natural 3/4 arm slot, right? When you look at a guy like Tom Brady, he has more of a naturally higher arm slot. You look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, he has a lower arm slot. Which is the correct one? And the correct answer is there is no correct one. It varies based on different situations and it varies based on different body types and who you are as a quarterback. There's probably a couple hundred quarterbacks watching this right now. Every single one of you has a different body type. Every single one of you throws the ball differently. Nobody throws the ball the same. What you were trying to do is take the mechanical aspects of a professional like Joe Burrow, like some of the guys who are at the top of their game. How can you find similarities in Joe Burrow's game, Aaron Rodgers' game, Tom Brady's game, and apply it to your own game? And what we're going to talk about today is the front side, allowing you to get to extension, which is where the arm slot comes from. Because like if there's a guy right in front of Joe Burrow and standing in front of him, and he's still trying to make this throw to the other quarterback, he's probably going to widen his arm slot and try to throw around him. If he has to throw a touch ball, he's probably going to have a higher arm slot and try to drop this thing in the bucket. And if it's just normal, natural throw, maybe he has this 3/4 look. But every single one of those throws, the same thing will remain consistent with his front side. So when you throw, every single time, the whole arm slot debate, like the reason why people will say you want to have a 3/4 slot or more of a sidearm natural throw is they think that you get to extension faster, right? So what extension is this release point here. This like extend of Joe Burrow's arm at the target. That's what we call extension. Now, a lot of people, when they hear, oh, well, if I sidearm the ball, that means that I'm going to get to extension faster. So I'm going to try to do that and I'll get more velocity, more spin on the ball, etc. But if you try to do that, and I've seen this happen with quarterbacks, is that they manually try to throw sidearm and they don't have a disciplined front hand, front elbow, or front shoulder, and it prevents them from getting to extension, and the opposite will happen. They will not spin the ball and they will not be more accurate. It's all about being able to get to extension because of a disciplined front side. So what do I mean by disciplined front side? So when you guys throw, you guys want to pretend like you got a midline down the middle of your body. Whatever your front side does, it's like a teeter-totter. Your front elbow pulls down to your hip, your release point gets pushed up high. Your front shoulder rips around towards this referee over here. What do you think happens to your release point? It gets pushed wide. So it could go high, it could go wide. When it goes wide, your release comes across your frame. Right? A lot of old school quarterback coaches taught, oh, you want to start with your front shoulder on the target, and then you want to finish with your front shoulder directly behind you. That's what causes that arm to widen. That's what causes you to come across your frame, and that prevents extension. Instead of being able to extend at the target, you're coming across your body. Now, a lot of guys were taught, swing the elbow down to your hip as a source of power. But what that does is that's going to push that ball up high, and you're going to come down on the motion, preventing you from getting to extension. And probably when you swing your elbow, your head's going to dip out of the throw as well. It falls off the midline. You got to be able to stay on that midline to get to extension. So the arm slot thing, the reason why I bring all that up is that's everybody's argument. You want to have a lower arm slot because it gets you to extension faster. But if you have an undisciplined front side, like I said, you will not get to extension. You will not have that snap on the ball, and it will not be consistent. You won't be able to trust your hands and effectively change your arm slot when the situation calls for it. So a good gauge, what I like to tell my guys is with their front hand. I like to say you want to bring your throwing shoulder to your front hand. So your left hand, you go back with the ball like you see how Joe Burrow does. You want to bring your throwing shoulder to the front hand. That makes sure that your arm stays up and your elbow doesn't dip down. Another thing I like to say, you want to stay square. So you want to be able to draw a square. If you were drawing a picture, your hips and your shoulders should stay square to the target so you do not swing that shoulder and open up too far and over rotate, lengthening your arm slot outside your frame. So if you can do that, keep the hand up by the collarbone, stay level with the shoulders, stay level with the hips. No matter where you were trying to release the ball, that allows you to get to extension. That's how you can whip. That's how you get that nice snap of your release, which gives you more velocity on the ball and more rotations and also more consistency. The whole purpose of this is to be more accurate and to get more snap on the ball. It's for torque, but also it's for accuracy. Now, this is going to feel extremely awkward if you do not throw with your lower body. Now, what I mean by that is if you're relying all on your arm to make throws, you should not be even thinking about your arm at this point. It should all be lower half. You need to make sure that your front foot gets down. You need to make sure that you have weight on your back leg and you are transferring that weight to your front leg. You are rotating with your front hip. Because when you throw with your upper body and then you stay square with your upper, or when you throw with your lower body, stay square with your upper body, bring that shoulder to your front hand, you get that snap and you get to that extension, that gives you power. So don't focus so much on the upper half that you forget about the lower half as well. We need a combination of both. And when you stay disciplined with that front side, you could lower the arm slot. You could have a higher arm slot. You could throw to 3/4 because this allows you to extend, not how low or how high you hold the football. It's a cause and effect. This comes from this. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. So I just wanted to make sure all quarterbacks need to hear that advice because there's so much information out there about arm slots. So many people who think they know what they're talking about with arm slots. Some guys do, but also some guys neglect to mention the fact that it's all based on your front side. Okay, so now, next example here. Not enough people talk about this. We're going to talk about how you can be more accurate when throwing on the run. So everybody loves to show the off-platform throws. You get the quarterback coaches who film their quarterbacks and they put the 0.5 filter on there so it looks like they're throwing 50 yards off-platform on a rope, and they love to publicize those because those throws are impressive, but it's all hype. How often are you really making those types of throws, you know? And then they show the guys doing the jump passes and all that stupid stuff. How can you throw on the run? There's not enough information out there about throwing on the run. And we try to do a good job of it, but we should talk about it more. So to be accurate on the run, it all comes down to the same things we were just talking about. But now you're obviously moving. So let's play this throw from CJ Stroud. This is a big time throw, guy in his face, rolling on the run to his weak side, and he's able to put this thing on a rope with only a spot his guy could get it. How is he able to be so accurate on this throw? So when we are throwing on the run, obviously, like we talked about in the last example, you want to throw with your hips, right? Power, velocity on throws comes from torque. Being able to have your hips going through and your shoulders staying back. So stepping with your throwing side foot towards the target, being able to rotate your shoulder, that creates that separation between hips and shoulders. That's how we get power. Now, when guys do this on the run and they step, they rotate back, everybody gets to this spot pretty consistently. But when they rotate through, they will take that belly button and their hips and their shoulders, and it will go towards the sideline. They will almost fade away from the throw. So knowing what we know from that arm slot video, when your body's on this midline, but you rip open with your hips and shoulders, what do you think happens to your release? Your release widens. And you see Stroud, he even has a lower arm slot in this case. But after he lets go of the ball, you see how his hips and his shoulders stay parallel to that line of scrimmage. That's what allows us to get to also extension, which is where my accuracy comes from. I rotate back, I have my hips going to the target, I have my shoulders back, but when I finish on the throw, I stay square. Hands by my chest, by my collarbone. I stay level shoulders, level hips. So now it's just a flick of the wrist. Wherever I flick that wrist and wherever I extend, that's where the ball's going to go. And the ball will have velocity because I'm on the run and I got some momentum to it. That's a great job there by Stroud being accurate on that run. Make sure, fellas, whether we are rolling out to the right side, left side, running up in the pocket, hips and shoulders, your belly button, however you want to think of it, stays facing the target. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great ball there by Stroud, rolling on the run to his weak side. Okay, so now, last example I want to talk about here is this is going to be a 35-yard rope from C.J. Stroud on a bullet. A bullet's a 35-yard pass. Now, how is he able to do this? How is he able to get the ball out of his hands so quick? Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this video are probably high school quarterbacks, youth quarterbacks. I'm not asking you to be able to make this type of throw. This is a college, like high-level college, NFL-level throw. 35 yards on a dime with velocity. So I'm not saying you got to make that throw. I think even at the college level, you don't have to make that type of throw. There's some NFL quarterbacks that probably don't attempt that throw because they don't have as much confidence in that throw. Now, what I want you to get out of this is I want you to pay attention to how quickly he got the ball out of his hands, because this is into a tight window, right? This is probably something that I would never recommend, throwing into almost triple coverage. But if he would have held that ball a second longer, maybe loaded up on his back leg a little bit more, who do you think is going to make this play? A safety. He's probably going to pick it off, or he's probably going to level the wide receiver. He put that ball out on the perfect time possible. And the reason why he has the confidence to make that type of throw is because he has that lightning fast release. And that lightning fast release is what you should try to develop every single level you go up in football. If you're a youth guy who's going to play middle school ball, middle school is going up to high school, especially that high school to college gap, everybody gets faster. Everybody does. The throwing windows get smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't care what level you're at of football either. So we need to do my job as a quarterback and decrease the amount of wasted motion that I have. So you see when Stroud, we talked about this in the Burrow clip. Where did Burrow want to have like weight in his base? He wanted to have weight on his back leg, right? He wanted to be loaded on his back leg so he could transfer that weight to the front foot, get his hips involved, and then we obviously talked about staying square. But it started with the lower half. So when you're in the pocket, you need to have something called a pre-loaded base. So when you're going through reads, you're going through progressions, you should already be in a base with weight distribution, like 60 on the back leg, 70% on your back leg, ready to throw no matter where we're at. I'm getting some front side pressure. If I'm drifting back, doing a back pedal, I should be in this base. If I got to step up in the pocket, I should be in this base because I can get the ball out at any time now. It doesn't matter if it's a short route or a deep route. I'm in a base ready to throw. We have to be preloaded. So many quarterbacks, myself included back when I played, when I saw a guy open, I'd have to load up. It wasn't just a separation and a transfer of weight. It was, I'm in the pocket, probably because I'm not a tall guy, so I was trying to stand tall and see, right? Which is not how you should play if you're a short guy. You should be looking through windows. But I would try to stand tall and see somebody be open. I'd have to load up on the back leg, dip down, bring the ball up a little higher or whatever it is, get my front shoulder to the target. All of that's wasted motion. And, I would have to overcompensate. I'd have to throw the ball so dang early because if I waited even long, it'd be picked. It'd be a horrible pass. So getting into this base now, building this habit now. You're going through drills. You're working routes with your teammates. We should try to get the ball out of my hands as quickly as possible. Ball is ready to go. Base is ready to go, no matter where I'm at. So I could actually have the guts to attempt this type of a throw, to make this type of a throw. Doesn't need to be a 35-yard rope, but to get the ball out on time helps your cause. This is what college coaches look for. This is what high school coaches look for in their quarterbacks. There's like a smoothness element to this. There's no load up. There's no hinge in his motion. He is preloaded, and that's what you need to focus on as a quarterback. Everything we do should be with the goal in mind to eliminate wasted motion. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, we are coming out to 15 different states this offseason, 14 now since we just finished up our San Francisco camp. We'll be coming out to Orlando. That camp is sold out, but 13 more are still available. We will probably sell out all of these, fellas. So check out that very first link in the description below if you want some more information on that. I'll see you guys next time.